Federal agents conducted a raid early this morning on the office of Chicago Alderman Ed Burke. We don't know exactly why just yet, but we do have some details about how it played out. Agents arrived at the office early Thursday morning, told employees to leave, and papered over the glass windows at the office's entrance to conceal the investigation going on inside. A woman who left the office and did not identify herself said FBI agents were inside. Chicago Alderman Edward Burke's office did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Apparently his ward office on the southwest side also had the same brown paper taped over its front door with 3 signs that read "office closed." If the brown paper over the glass didn't clue people into that. An officer sitting in a squad car parked behind Burke's ward office said a search warrant was being executed inside, but offered no further details. Look, I am new to Ed Burke. I'm not familiar with him. I'm not a native of the Chicago area, but he's apparently a longtime chairman of the city council's finance committee, where he controls much of the legislative purse strings at City Hall. He has held that office since 1969.
That's nearly 50 years for those of you scoring at home.
That is incredible. And an alderman who has an office nearby, I think next door, said, "I listen to the news and read the papers, and I thought they didn't do anything that close to an election because this alderman, Ed Burke, will be up for re-election within 3 months. So it's shocking to me as to how you or why someone like this would happen some 90 days before an election." So why is this going on? Well, there's 2 general theories. In 2012, a federal grand jury demanded that Burke's finance committee turn over records related to a duty disability program that in 2011 alone paid out $115 million to disabled city workers, according to documents the Chicago Tribune obtained at the time. So potentially there could be some issues in terms of corruption. It's not unheard of that someone in government for decade after decade starts to do some stuff that's shady. But there is a complicating factor, and that is some of the other work that this alderman had been involved in. In addition to his aldermanic duties, something I've never said before, Burke's law firm is among the most prominent property tax appeals firms in the city, and Burke's work has included conducting property tax appeals for President Donald Trump's Chicago Tower. He did tax-related work for the Trump organization for 12 years before they severed their business relationship earlier this year. And apparently in June, they said that there were irreconcilable differences between his organization and the Trump organization, so they cut off their connections.
Burke, according to the Chicago Tribune, Burke served as Trump lawyer for better than a decade, helping to lower the property bill on Trump's downtown skyscraper by more than $14 million.
Which again, to a billionaire would be nothing. To an actual billionaire, it would be nothing. So I guess I haven't seen enough raids in my career to know if an alderman had been, this is just speculation, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's say he'd been laundering money or embezzling or something like that. Would the FBI have been called in? And if so, would they be papering over the windows? I honestly don't know at this point.
Right,
we can do nothing but speculate until we know more.
And will we find out? I mean, if it's part of some kind of financial investigation, see what he's been doing. As you said, there's multiple things. This guy's been around for 50 years, nearly 50 years. So once you're at that point, they could go through all these things. But it's, I wouldn't say fun to speculate, but there's a lot of coincidences here, right? So it's happening, all these happening around the same time when they're saying this investigation with financial ties potentially with what Trump is doing. You need to find out everything because he's definitely not submitting any of his financial records publicly, as I was talking about earlier. So things like this tend to happen. Maybe it'll be nothing, but it is curious that when you get your taxes lowered, even just that story itself, the way you go through certain attorneys to make sure you don't pay enough taxes or certain taxes on your things, which Trump admitted to as well. It's fine. If you were like me, you'd do the same thing too.
Yeah, at this point, we honestly don't know. I mean, the fact that he had been involved in that seems suspicious, and it certainly makes it noteworthy, this business relationship with the sitting president. But there are many corrupt politicians around the country, and there's also the possibility that he didn't do anything wrong for Trump, and he didn't do anything wrong for himself. And if that is the case, then the timing, just a couple of months before an election, is certainly unfortunate for any politician.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.